What's up? What's up? This video is going to be one of many about the Arkansas State Police and their love and their passion for the pit maneuver. By their own statistics, the pit maneuver is by far their favorite thing to do. So I think the best place to start this video is July 9th, 2020. And if you're an Arkansas State Police officer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is an incident that resulted in a lawsuit. It was a lady being pulled over on Highway 67. Her name was Miss Harper. She was being pulled over by Trooper Rodney Dunn. Highway 67 at the time was under construction, and there was no shoulder to pull off to. There was just a concrete barrier. Well, Miss Harper has her flashers on. She's slowing down. She's looking for a spot to pull over, and Rodney Dunn doesn't care. He doesn't have common sense. I don't know what his deal is, but he immediately crashes Miss Harper's car into that concrete barrier, causing it to flip over. And she was 2 months pregnant at the time. So she initially didn't even want to file the lawsuit. She just wanted policy change within the department so this doesn't happen to somebody else. But Arkansas State Police wasn't hearing it, so she followed through with the lawsuit. She was awarded $150,000 along with a policy change. And it should be noted that Rodney Dunn, he was not fired, he did not resign, he still works for the Arkansas State Police to this day. So before the policy change, initially the policy read the only time you can't pit maneuver somebody is if it's a bus, like a passenger vehicle of some kind, or a truck, some type of vehicle carrying materials that it wouldn't be safe for those materials to be spilled over into the road or onto the highway. So after the policy change, it was changed to read, you need exigent circumstances to perform a pit maneuver, that you need to reasonably believe without a doubt that there will be more harm caused if you do not perform this pit maneuver. So in other words, you have to have common sense. If you want to wreck someone's car on the interstate, now the policy says you have to have common sense. You can't just do it because you want to, or because they haven't pulled over soon enough, or whatever, you know. So that was 2020. It's now 2024. Do you think that policy change has made a difference? I don't. On September 10th, 2023, so just like 5 months ago, Arkansas State Trooper Thomas Hubbard was allowed to retire after he pit maneuvered the wrong car. So pretty much there was a high-speed pursuit. It was a four-door sedan. He sees all his fellow officers going up the roadway. He sees them all pass this other four-door sedan, but for some reason, again, no common sense, it's a four-door sedan. I better pit maneuver it immediately. Even if it was the right car, it was clearly slowing down and attempting to pull over. So even if it was the right car, that's not exigent circumstances. That's not a reason to flip someone's car over. They were clearly pulling over, and you weren't even sure if it was the right car or not. And I know you weren't sure because it wasn't the right car, and your fellow officers were still driving up the road. Why wasn't he fired? Why wasn't he charged? He was allowed to retire, and that was that. That just tells me Arkansas State Police aren't taking this very seriously. They love to pit maneuver. Yeah, he resigned. Yeah, he's not there. Yeah, he may have been fired if he didn't resign, but I don't think that stopped Arkansas State Police lust for the pit maneuver. Literally up until recently, they had their own YouTube channel called Arkansas State Police Chases, where they showcased and bragged about their chases and their crashes. They proudly showed it off. They bragged about it in the comments. I even commented on one of them last summer, and this is the response that I got. Hey, stop hating on us. We get the job done, kid. All you gotta do is stop or get put in the ditch. P.S. Love the Arkansas State Police. It's wild. They aren't even hiding it. So I said that up until recently, there was a YouTube channel called Arkansas State Police Chases because I can no longer find that channel on YouTube. At first I was like, maybe they have me blocked, but it's more likely that they just changed their name. Well, thanks to my new friend, Garrett Ferry, who we will learn more about later because he's a little savage, But thanks to him, I can now confirm that there is an Arkansas State Police dispatcher by the name of Chad Gibson that is running a YouTube channel by the name of Police Pursuits. And it, coincidentally, is all about Arkansas State police chases. And it's monetized. Now, I'm going to show you another incident that just happened a couple weeks ago, January 14th, 2024, where Arkansas State Trooper Christopher Barnett pit maneuvered a stolen vehicle into another innocent motorist. He literally waits, in my opinion, till he gets up to that other motorist and pit maneuvers him into it. And even if he waited a little bit longer, there were several other cars that he could have hit with that other car. He doesn't care about safety. In his police report, he actually says he was trying to do it before he reached those vehicles. That way he didn't hit those vehicles. But whenever you see that, oh, hey, I didn't make it in time, he still hits that vehicle into those other vehicles. He still pit maneuvers the fleeing vehicle into the innocent motorist's vehicle. Check it out. That was Officer Christopher Barnett, and he received no discipline for his careless actions that day. And let me tell you what happens to these people that get their vehicles wrecked by the Arkansas State Police. I'm going to tell you this from personal experience, because long before I ever made this YouTube channel, I was driving through a parking lot, minding my own business, and a lady backs out of her spot and T-bones my vehicle. She ended up working for the state police. She wasn't a trooper. She worked in administration or something like that. She had an issued state police vehicle. I tried to get her insurance. She doesn't have anything to give me. She pretty much tells me there's nothing to give me. I'm going to have to cover my own damages and to get lost. I ended up calling the Conway PD because it was in the city of Conway. I make a police report. I file it with my insurance. Long story short, they do not have to cover damages. My insurance paid for the damages, and I had to pay my deductible. After many months of arguing and talking and pleading, I eventually got the Arkansas State Police to reimburse my $500 deductible, but the rest of the damages were just on my insurance company. And I won't say the name of the insurance company, but it's one of the big dogs. And so, they have really good lawyers. And for over a year, they attempted to get their money back from the Arkansas State Police unsuccessfully. You can't sue them for damages. They aren't required to have their own insurance. They aren't required to carry an insurance policy. They are allowed to insure themselves, I guess is the best way to word that. And when they insure themselves, like they aren't required to cover other people's damages. They only have to cover the damages to their own vehicles, to their own equipment. And by their own, I mean our own as the taxpayers, obviously. So now I want to talk about statistics. I want to look at Arkansas State Police's own statistics and see, have they gotten better or worse with pit maneuvering after the lawsuit, after the incident and the policy change from 2020. So 2019 shows they had 342 pursuits. Out of those 342 pursuits, 96 ended with a pit maneuver. So that's 28%. 28% of their pursuits from 2019 ended with a pit maneuver. So remember that number, 28%. So now we're going to look at some statistics from 2023, and we're going to see, is it better or worse after the policy change? Check it out. So I was able to get the stats of 2023 from the Arkansas State Police in regards to pursuits. And the numbers are kind of crazy, and it's kind of cool. They actually even included these pie charts. So if you look at the top here, we have 620 total pursuits for 2023. It's broke down between all the Troop A through L. Troop A clearly gets the majority of the pursuits. 207 out of that 620. The next highest one is 99 pursuits for Troop D, and then it just goes down from there. So then we go down to, we got total accidents, 13 from Arkansas State Police, 87 from suspects, and 21 from a citizen's vehicle. So what I was really curious about is the pit maneuvers. So P.I.T, they also call them TVI. They have, 18 in January, 12 in February, 12 in March. So every other day, at least every other day, they are pitting someone, sometimes every day. So I'd say that averages out, it totals up to 251 pits, P.I.T maneuvers in 2023. That equals out to over 40% of the time. So 251 out of 620 is over 40%. It's about 40.5% of the time Arkansas State Police will pit maneuver you into the ditch. If they administer a forcible stop technique, 81% of the time it's going to be a pit maneuver. So it went from 28% in 2019 to 40% in 2023. It doesn't sound like they are applying logic and common sense to pit maneuvering. It doesn't sound like they're following their own policy. Yeah, that one officer a few months ago did have to resign, but why not charges? Why not being fired? Why are their numbers going up? Yes, there are more pursuits per year, but that shouldn't mean that your percentage of pit maneuvers go up. That percentage should stay the same or go down if you just limited when you're able to pit maneuver somebody in a policy. Why are those percentages going up? Why did you pit maneuver more people that next year when you just changed your policy to limit when you can pit maneuver people? That doesn't make sense to me. Also, don't get me wrong. Pit maneuvers are 100% necessary in many occasions. I'm sure of it. That's not the issue. The issue is Arkansas State Police's complete disregard for safety. It is their complete lack of common sense. They have way more brawn than brain. They are reckless, and they brag about it. Going off their own stats, they have not learned a damn thing. Despite lawsuits, policy changes, officers resigning, their percentages still continue to go up. So I'm going to continue to make these videos about the Arkansas State Police and their passion for pit maneuvering people, because when I was making this story, I was coming across more than I could fathom, more than I could handle, way more than I could put in one video or two videos. So I didn't want to do anything in injustice by cramming too many stories into one video. So stay tuned on this. I've got plenty more coming, and I will keep people updated on the last two that are still unfolding. I appreciate you for tuning in. Peace.